on the Mustangs Sports Network from Learfield. This is the Hilltop Hoop Show, presented by SMU Cox School of Business, with head coaches Andy Enfield and Toyelle Wilson. And now, live from Ozona Grill and Bar on Greenville Avenue, here is your host, Rich Phillips.
And good evening. Welcome to our final edition this season of the Hilltop Hoop Show over at Ozona Grill and Bar. Thanks to everybody coming out, joining us one last time here at Ozona, and for those joining us on the SMU Mustangs Facebook page as well. We'll get men's coach Andy Enfield up here shortly, but first let's welcome up here head coach for the SMU women's team, Toyelle Wilson.
Hey.
How are you?
Good.
Unfortunately, your season's over. Finished up yesterday afternoon with a 69-45 loss to number 9 NC State. That's not only one of the best teams in the ACC, that's one of the best teams, obviously, in the country. I bet we'll see a lot of them coming up here throughout the month of March, too.
Yeah, I mean, again, this conference is really, really good, has really good players. But I'm going to be honest with you. I thought our girls, they punched us in the mouth that first quarter, but we outscored them that second quarter because we hit shots. And I think Kylie hit 2 or 3 threes. Zanai hit a 3, and that's why we outscored them in that second quarter, and that's what it comes down to. You got to be able to score the basketball. This league is a scoring league, and if you're able to hit threes and outscore people, you're going to be able to be competitive in games, which has been the story all year. And I'm proud of our girls and our team of how they fought through all the adversity that we had this season. Every time a game happened, we had somebody else go down or go out. Our best scorer, as you can say, Naya, our best shooter, scorer. She gets a lot of attention on the floor. She was out the last 3 weeks with mono, so we didn't even have and people didn't even know that, but we didn't even put that out there. But she couldn't even be around the team in any capacity. So I'm just proud of our girls and how they always fought during the adversity throughout the season. Yeah,
you changed up the starting lineups yesterday. Kiana Cox getting a start for you.
Yeah, a freshman that I thought that had been doing some good things the last couple of weeks. And just with NC State starting 4 guards, I thought it was a good opportunity for her to come and match up with. I thought it was a good matchup with her defensively against them, and then offensively, what she brings to the floor. So I thought she did good these last couple of weeks coming out, being fully healthy and being able to compete.
Jessica Peterson, 8 points, 10 rebounds, just missed what I think it would have been her 15th double-double of the season. But she did set an SMU record this year with 360 rebounds on the year, and she's a machine down there.
Yeah, she has a knack for the ball and rebounding the basketball. And our kids, she had a couple shots at the rim that she didn't make, and but she's been someone that I know the consistency of getting a rebound. I know when she's on the floor she can get rebounds. And then
Zanai Jones really stepped up for you of late when Naya went out. She had 17 points yesterday, 16 against Virginia on Thursday, and really started to step up for you.
Yeah, Naya, Zanai really can shoot the basketball, and we were putting in a 2-man game where she can get to her pull-up. She has one of the best pull-ups in the country, I think. And she was able to do that and be effective, push the ball in pace, get downhill, score at all 3 levels. So I was really proud of Z's growth to really become the primary ball handler when we didn't have Naya as a backup, one of the primary scorers, but also then having to defend. So she was doing everything for our team, and I was really proud of her growth and her maturity and her facing adversity, but really being that leader on the floor, how she turned into that leader, a scoring leader on the floor.
You talked about it a little bit, but the injuries and the illness tonight, you're down to 8 players, and it's not only the short rotation. That's got to be taxing on the girls, too, especially the ones that really log the heavy minutes for you.
Yeah, and I told them we're not going to gain any more players, so they were going to have to just really kind of suck it up, and good thing they were in shape, and so but they didn't use that as their crutch, they didn't use that as their excuse. I always told them, you got to fight. The season will be at the end when it comes to an end, but while you're on the floor, leave everything you have on the floor, giving them positive encouragement and reinforcement, and because when they see you sweat, they're going to sweat. And so I made sure that they understood that you have to bring it no matter what. No one's going to feel sorry for you.
Thursday night at home had Virginia in, and that was your senior night. 5 players finishing up their time here. Zanai Jones, Jessica Peterson, Shantae Ambry, Sandra Magalico, and Kaija Woods. How hard as a coach is it for you to have those final games with those players?
Yeah, well, you don't realize it until you take that jersey off one last time in the locker room, and I think that's when it hits you like, okay, I don't have any eligibility left. So, I thanked them in the locker room, thanked them as they came off the floor yesterday. As you saw, I took them all out with a few minutes left, and a lot of them came here for 1 year and had really great experiences outside of the actual game, but they had great experiences as far as they came here to do something different, to be in Dallas, to be at a great academic university, be on a team they actually feel that they are felt that they are belong to, and that they really loved. And so, they'll all have opportunities to play basketball after college and be able to play pro, and so I'm really excited for them. Kasia still has her academics to finish, so she'll be here through fall. And Zanaya will be here through the summer. She still has her academics to finish, so we'll see a lot of them still for a little while.
Jess and Shantae are two that transferred here your second year, right, in 2022. Yes. You really had to love seeing what Jess was able to do this season after really losing a year to injury last year and how she blossomed for you.
Yeah, really grew crazy over this whole past year, and where she came from, where she redshirted. I don't even know if that's like a comeback story you ever hear about, is someone redshirting and then dominating in the country and rebounding. And so she has a lot of potential and a lot of growth, and she had grown so much this year, so proud of her for that.
And then Shantae only was able to get in 15 games this year because of injury. Obviously, that's one of the big losses that you had, and you got to hate to see it kind of end that way for one of your seniors.
Yeah, I talked to her after the game, even yesterday, just telling her, I'm going to meet with everybody in a week and just to go through what they want and how I can help them with their plans. Shantae will be able to play pro once she gets healthy, gets back on the floor, gets back in shape. She can go and play pro. And so I told her any film, any calls, any agents, anybody I need to talk to, I'm ready to talk to, so I can brag about her to these people so she can play overseas.
And now it is off season, but certainly the off season is not slow. Portal's coming up, right?
Yeah, so we technically can't talk to our players for a week, so we won't talk to them. I have meetings set up for Monday and Tuesday of the 10th and the 11th. We'll meet with the ones that are done, the returners, and see what that looks like, meet with my staff, see what that looks like, and then we have the portal opens March 25th, so we'll be ready for that. But we still have some kids that we're recruiting that are in the playoffs right now, so we'll be on the road. So recruiting's really vamping up, and my biggest thing is recruiting is the lifeline and bloodline of any program, so that needs to be the main focus. And a lot of changes have to happen, and we have to make a lot of changes so that we are successful next season. The only way to go is up. Yeah,
those are the high school kids. You signed 3 in the early period, right?
Yep, 3, but we're going to look in portal to get some, people that can right away make an impact and be actually successful in the ACC.
You mentioned you have to wait a week till you meet with your players. The way the portal is these days, are you recruiting your players that are on the roster right now too?
Yeah, I mean, some will come back, some won't, and that's how it goes nowadays. Yeah. It's a yearly kind of thing, and but my main focus is getting in the portal to get kids that we can win basketball games.
When you're on the recruiting trail, whether it be through the portal or the high school kids, it's got to make a huge difference for you to say you get to come play in the best conference in the country. 5 teams this week in the AP Top 25 for the ACC, plus Louisville is the first one on the outside. All those teams should be in the NCAA tournament. That's got to help you with recruiting for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the whole year. But not only that, Dallas, what you can do in Dallas, this opportunity of where SMU is and where we're going, and or where we are and where we're going, and just the academic landscape, the facility landscape, but the ACC is just like the topping on the cake and the icing on the cake. And so I'm excited about getting in the portal on March 25th and getting to work so we can have better product on the floor.
Our segment with Coach Wilson each week is brought to you by Ozona Grill and Bar on Greenville Avenue, with the best patio in town, and happy hour from 4 to 7 every Sunday through Friday. Specials including free chips and salsa. Ozona Grill and Bar, find your comfort zone. Well, Toyo, thanks so much for being here tonight, and best of luck to you on that recruiting trail.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. That is Toyo Wilson, SMU women's coach, joining us here. Up next, Andy Enfield will be with me for the next segment on Hilltop Hoops. Welcome back here to Hilltop Hoops, our final Monday night here at Ozona Grill and Bar on the SMU Mustangs Facebook page. If you want to support your favorite Mustangs, join SMU's official NIL partner, the Boulevard Collective. The Boulevard leverages NIL and the DFW community to develop excellence and leadership capabilities in SMU student athletes while supporting the missions of SMU and the SMU Athletic Department. Visit boulevardcollective.com to join and learn more. And let's welcome up here to the stage for this segment, head coach of the SMU men's team, Andy Enfield. How are you, Coach?
Very well, thank you.
Good to be back home after a long trip this past week.
Yeah, it was a five or 6 day trip. You lose track of days after you're on the West Coast. But I want to thank all of you for coming all season. This has been great. You've been very supportive. Really appreciate all the fan support, and you showing up here every Monday night. It's been fun.
It's also easy to lose track of days when we won the weather lottery for being in the Bay Area. I don't think I've ever been there when it was as nice as it was this week.
Well, we've been going up there 11 years when I was at USC, and this is the nicest weather we've ever had at Cal and Stanford. The sunny, and the 65 and sunny. It was incredible. Yeah. And probably reached 70 the one day. So our players, a lot of the players have never been to the West Coast, especially the Bay Area. So it was nice for them to be able to enjoy the good weather and experience something different.
Gave me a hard time because I kept sitting outside working, but it was way better than sitting in the hotel room.
You weren't working, Rich.
I was shopping.
Rich enjoys these trips 5 days.
I was shopping for houses for clients, sir. I was working, all right?
Okay.
All right, well, Saturday is when the road trip ended. Unfortunately, 73-68 loss at Stanford. Is that high on the frustrating loss of the year for you this season?
Well, I don't know if it's high. It's a road loss. It was our second road loss. We're 7-2 on the road now, so we were used to winning those close games on the road. We had our chances, and we didn't convert down the stretch. We missed our last 5 shots, and they were all 4 shots and a turnover, and they were all shots we normally make or had a chance to make. You're talking about a jump shot by Chuck and then a wide open 3 by Chuck at the top of the key. BJ missed 2 floaters from 4 feet with no one on him, and then Cement had the ball 2 feet from the basket, and all he had to do was pick it up and lay it in, and he lost it one hand out of bounds. And so Matt Cross had a turnover, or actually a missed shot with about 4.5, 5 minutes left. So our best players had the ball down the stretch. We just didn't convert, so it was a little disappointing because our guys played very hard and they played well together.
Yeah, they made a great comeback, a 13-0 run, went as high as 17-2 on that run to go from down 10 to up 5. Did maybe they expend everything right there in that run?
I don't know about it. They played a lot of minutes because Boopy's been out, but I thought Johan gave us good minutes off the bench. The other guys off the bench have been playing pretty well and playing hard. So, at that point, everybody plays a lot of minutes. It's late in the season. Everybody's tired. So you just have to step up and make shots. And I give Stanford credit. Their point guard or one of their guards stepped up and scored 8 straight points on us when we had the lead.
Yeah, Benny Gieler, their backup point, 17 points, 5 of 6 from 3. Some of those could have been 4-point shots they were so far. He was on fire.
Well, the last 2 he made were from 29, 30 feet.
Yeah.
So, as I said, give him credit. He made the shots.
And Maxime Reynaud had a big game, too. First half, again, playing without Boopy Miller. We know, obviously, that affects the offense some. You had 9 turnovers, and you were probably thinking, here we go again, because the last couple games that had been the case. What was the difference to only turn it over 3 times in the second half?
Well, I think they just got tired of turning it over.
I don't blame them.
I mean, we have 18 against Cal, 16 against Clemson, 9 in the first half against Stanford. You just get tired of it. So, but our guards did a really good job, and everybody on the team did a good job second half. Gave us a chance to win the game.
They probably get tired of hearing about it.
Not much you can say.
Since missing 3 of 4 games in early February, Johan Traore's minutes have been down. More than that, I went back and looked, and starting on January 7th when we played at North Carolina, up through the Cal game, he had attempted 8 free throws. And he went 8 of 10 on Saturday. That is huge to step up like he did, mostly in the second half, too, on Saturday.
Yeah, he was terrific. He was able to get to the rim. Our guards gave him good looks, good passes, and he was able to go strong to the basket. And he was fouled 5 times and made 8. So I thought he gave us great minutes off the bench, and we need him to do more of that here this week.
Overall, Stanford shot the ball really well. Was it more of what they did, or were there some defensive lapses you were concerned about?
Well, we had to go zone in the second half, and I thought our zone got us back in the game and gave us that big run. Man-to-man in the first half, we weren't our normal self. Smet was in foul trouble in the second half. So I just think we, they had 73 points for the game, and we only had 68. We normally average 82 or 81.
Yeah.
So I thought they shot the ball better than we did when they had their chances of open looks.
Wednesday night, the trip started with about your average, 81-77 win at Cal. Led most of the night by as many as 17. It was 16 early second half. Well, Cal didn't go away. They fought back to tie the game up with 5:33 to play. You got to love how you guys responded. They went on a 9-point run right away after that.
Yeah, it was a very tough game. I think just a general fan and some people probably on the NCAA selection committee, they don't understand how hard it is to win on the road. And I think you get into league play, and every game is challenging, and especially road games. And Cal is a good team. Their record is around 500, but they're dangerous because they have good players and they can get hot. And for that stretch, they played great. So we're very fortunate to be 7-2 on the road. If you would ask me before the season, would you be 7-2 on the road, I would say you have the wrong team. But it's very, very challenging and difficult to do that in any league.
Your backcourt combo that night, Chuck Harris and B.J. Edwards, 21 and 18 points respectively. And B.J. sat down one time in the Cal game, I think?
Well, he played 38 minutes both games, and he's getting a lot of – without Boopy, he's our primary ball handler, and Chuck takes over, and then Tibet come in, and Tibet played very well, but B.J.'s our point guard and when Boopy's out.
That's obviously the burden these guys have taken on without Boopy Miller and even Kerry Oquendo, too, stepping into the starting lineup and playing more minutes. Impressive. Are you concerned with their workload of late?
Well, it's the end of the season. Everybody's tired, so you have to look. Everybody wants to play these big minutes, and here you are. So, you try to give guys breaks, so we try to give our guys breaks, and that's why having a deep team like we have is beneficial.
And this brings us to the all-important question. After missing 5 games, what's the update on Boopy Miller?
Well, we're very optimistic he could play this week, and we're hoping he could play tomorrow, but that'll be a game-time decision. He has certainly improved. His condition has improved, but at the same time, we want to make sure he's 100% ready to go.
Don't want to get any setbacks with more games, and hopefully 3 or 4 games coming up next week, too, obviously.
Yeah, and it's not my decision. I don't want any player to play unless they're comfortable playing and the doctors are comfortable, and so we'll figure that out tomorrow.
Our segment with Andy Enfield each week is brought to you by our sponsor, the SMU Cox School of Business, introducing the Masters of Energy and Sustainability Management at SMU Cox. This new STEM-designated degree is designed to equip business managers with the skills to create environmentally sustainable business solutions. Learn more at smu.edu/cox/hilltophoops. Senior day tomorrow for you and your guys. Chuck Harris, Matt Cross, Keon Ambrose Hilton, Tibet Goriner, Kerry Oquendo, Jackson Young also in his last game. And let's not overlook manager Joey Kagan, his last game.
Well, senior day is it's a bittersweet time. You're celebrating guys that have meant a lot to your program, and some of the players have been here longer than others, but they've all been a big part of our success this season. So we're looking forward to honoring them, and it's kind of bittersweet because that's their last home game, at least in the regular season. So we are very thankful for what they've done for us, for their program and for this season.
Chuck and Keon are good stories. These are 2 of just 3 guys on the scholarship guys that stuck around for the previous group to play for you. You got to like that about them.
Yeah, Chuck and Keon have had terrific seasons. They're both improved, and they're winners and they're leaders. They're both two team captains out of our 3.
And then Matt Cross, we have learned very quickly this year, he's nothing but a warrior out there, is he?
Pretty tough. He's pretty tough.
Pretty talented too.
He's a very good basketball player, but he's even tougher than he is a player. Yeah, he just doesn't want to. No matter what happens to his body, he's going to play, and he plays through injury, he plays through sickness, and it's just impressive.
He's an interesting cat, too, when we get to hang around him a little more on the road. He's quite the snazzy dresser, isn't he?
He's very entertaining.
And then Carrio's been a real big pickup for you. Tibet, a guy who kind of took a chance. He was playing so much more at his previous stop, been pressed into a different role, but has stayed after it for you.
Talking about Tibet?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tibet has played great basketball lately. Made a big 3 against Cal and handles the ball. He's a secondary ball handler without Boopy, and he gets a lot of time at the point guard in practice. So he's improved, especially in the last month and a half.
And Carrio's turned into our most electrifying dunker on the team.
Well, he's always been that, but he's become much more efficient. He's really proud of him. He's a much better defensive player than he was coming here and early in the year. He was a very bad defender. Now he's a very good defender, and efficiency in offense has been his knock on him throughout his career, and now he's shooting a very high percentage from the field, a very high percentage from the three-point line and foul line. His assist-to-turnover ratio is much better. He's just a much better basketball player. He's really improved. Very proud of him.
And then Jackson, of course, doesn't play a ton, but he practices a ton. He's also a little bit of a long shot artist, it looks like, at the end of practices, isn't he?
Well, yeah, he's on the scout team, and those guys, they're behind the scenes, they're practicing against our guys every day, and so we put the scout team out there with a few of the non-scholarship players like Jackson and a couple of the freshmen, the redshirt guys, and they battle, and it's a tough job because they don't get to play in the games like the other guys, right. And so they very important to our team, and great guys, very hard workers, and Jackson. He's had a great career here. And
then I mentioned Joey Kagan. He's like all managers. I don't think they get nearly the credit that they deserve. We get bellhop service from them, it seems like, at the hotels, and they do tons of work that most of the guys don't even see probably behind the scenes.
Yes, very similar. It's a great experience for them to be part of a basketball program, especially at the ACC level, and get to travel. But they do a lot of behind-the-scenes work. They're there every day. They're early. They stay late. They travel and make sure everything goes as planned.
All right, let's talk a little bit here about building a resume. It's something you're doing from game number one, obviously, of the season. And when you look at, there's metrics out there. Today, we're 41 in the net, and I think that's on the bubble, we know at this point. I know you and your players have done a lot to build a good resume, and we'll start off with, you talked about it, 7-2 on the road in the ACC. That's one of 12 high major teams with 7+ road wins. That's hard to do, isn't it?
Well, as I mentioned before, it doesn't matter what league you're in, and especially in the ACC, it's hard to win on the road, and you have to be able to win close games and grind it out. It's tough to travel. You see a lot of these power conference teams, they have a couple good wins early, but now they're in the league play, and they go on the road, and they'll lose to one of the bottom teams by 10, 15, 20 points, and we haven't done that. We've been able to win 7 games on the road, so I think to our guys' credit, with 3 neutral site wins as well, 3-0 at the neutral, and then 7 road wins, we've done our job away from Moody Coliseum.
Yeah, 10+ wins away from home, one of only 11 teams among the high majors that have done that. And the other one that's interesting is in the power conferences, 13 teams changed conferences this year among power leagues. At 21-8 and 12-6 in the league, SMU's tied with Oregon for the most wins and the best winning percentage, and second only to Arizona in league winning percentage. And I'll remind everybody, SMU's the only one of the 13 that didn't come from a power league to a power league. That's the part that really, I think, should stand out.
Well, I've said most of the season here, our players have done a terrific job of improving and playing together. And to have 21 wins, that's great. We have a lot of basketball left this week, next week in the ACC tournament. So I'm hoping we have end of the season with more than 21 wins. Yep. But to be here right now is very exciting to be part of this. And I know we've had a ton of support from our fans and our administration. So it's been a group effort to get to where we are right now.
All right, let's go with a couple of questions from folks here in attendance tonight, if you're all right with that. First up, how significant would a double bye be in the conference tournament, which means you'd finish in 4th place?
Well, I think very significant. Just with Boopie's injury, you have the wear and tear. So to advance to the quarterfinals immediately without having to play a game is important. And because if you do win a game or two, the next game becomes a little easier with the wear and tear on your legs.
This game right here is obviously important with Duke and Wake Forest, and Saturday they have North Carolina, the 2 teams we're tied with. Duke's never been a better friend than this week, have they?
Well, they're an outstanding basketball team. They beat Illinois by 43 last week at Madison Square Garden. So I think, people around the nation, sometimes you say, the ACC is pretty good, especially Duke is as good as it gets right now in college basketball.
Absolutely. Next up, in an ideal configuration, how would you allocate your scholarships by position?
Well, I think you need 2 of every position, just for a starter and a backup, and then we have 13 going to 15 scholarships. We've never had 15 before. That's probably a little too many, but I think you need a depth on your team because we have an injury right now. When Samet was hurt, we had a couple guys out a few weeks ago. Johan was out for 3 weeks. Early in the season, Matt Cross was out. So you definitely need depth on your team. And I think 2 at each position to start, and then the 11th, 12th, 13th scholarship, you kind of fill in where you think you might need some extra help.
There's a lot of teams that don't even list a guy as a center. Do you like that?
Well, Cemet's a center. He's not
Absolutely, we do.
He's not a shooting guard yet. He thinks he might be, but usually everybody wants to play down. The centers want to be forwards. The forwards want to be shooting guards. The guards want to be point guards, and everybody wants to play something they're not. So I enjoy players that just say, hey, I know I'm this, and I'm going to be this, and I'm going to be really good at what I do.
Do you try to focus on still having a true center on your roster, or is it just kind of in the cards of what you get?
Cemet's a true center. Joel Colbert's a true center. So, you got guys that – even guys that can shoot to three, that doesn't mean they're not centers. They just might be stretch centers because, hopefully Cemet's evolution of his skill sets next year is a big summer, and we hope that he can go out and make a three, very soon. But right now, we're happy to call him a center.
Lastly here, do you have any good luck charms that you trust?
Good luck charms, wow. That's a great question. I used to be very superstitious. I've been coaching off and on for 30 years. My first job was in the NBA in 1994 with the Milwaukee Bucks, and I went to Boston Celtics. And when you're part of so many locker room speeches, halftime speeches, games, you kind of think you're superstitious about things, but usually they never work out, and they either go for or against you. And so I'm at the point now where I don't believe anything anymore. and we just we go in every game, and people say, well, your pregame speech, shouldn't you do this if you won? And look, I've been part of 4,000 pregame speeches as an assistant coach, as a head coach. So I've seen it all in this game, and so I don't have any superstitions anymore. I used to, but I think I've grown out of that after being part of so many games.
Back in the suit and tie days, you didn't have a tie you would just keep wearing because you kept winning?
Well, Coach Capco did, and then we lost in it, so he threw it away.
We had a couple coaches that used to do that here, too. 2 games left here in the regular season, starting tomorrow night, Syracuse, 8 o'clock. It's on ESPNU. It's on the SMU app as well as SiriusXM Channel 382 with Scott Garner and myself. Last game this season at Moody Coliseum. The Orange only 12-7 at 6-12. They're in that logjam trying to grab those last 3 spots. I think they're in good shape to make it into the conference tournament. They've got the 5th leading scorer in the league, and J.J. Starling. What kind of a scorer is he that we'll see tomorrow?
Well, very dynamic, very tough to guard, one-on-one, so we'll have to use our team to guard him and challenge every shot and hopefully rebound him when he misses.
And then they have the 2nd leading rebounder in the league, and Eddie Lampkin at 9.5 a game. You saw him last year when he was at Colorado playing against USC. We saw him 2 years ago. He's at TCU. This is a big man that Cemet's going to have to deal with inside.
Well, he's been, like many players in college, been on a world tour of universities here with, I think, his 4th one. But he's very talented. He's averaged 11 points, 11 rebounds. I think, his 2nd league rebounder in the league. And he'll just dribble and back you down, and he'll dribble 7, 8, 9, 10 times unless you stop him, and then he'll get 2 feet from the rim and lay the ball in. So very unique. We haven't seen a guy like him yet with his size. He's not a great athlete, but he's very skilled and very good passer. So we certainly have a lot of respect for him for he averages a double-double. It's pretty impressive in the ACC.
Does senior night worry you at all with your guys and their mindsets? Pre-game's different. Does that give you any concern?
As I said, I've been a part of a lot of senior nights, and there's no telling how sometimes they come out and they're on fire, and then some nights you think, wow, we shouldn't have had senior night. So we are going to come out and play as hard as we can no matter the senior night. That's a time to honor everybody. The families come back. It's a great night, great experience, bittersweet, but certainly want to honor those guys in a good way by winning the game.
And then you'll see a senior night on Saturday at Florida State. I guess a senior day. It's a 3 o'clock tip Saturday on ESPNU, also here on the SMU app. They're 16-13, 7-11. They're fighting for a better seed in the conference tournament. And it's not just the last game for their seniors. It's the last home game for their head coach, Leonard Hamilton, after 23 years, 459 wins. And I know he means a lot to you. We talked about it earlier this season when he announced he was stepping down. He gave you your first college coaching job.
Yeah, when I left the NBA, Coach Hamilton offered me a job at Florida State to be one of his assistant coaches, and spent 5 years there. It was an incredible experience. My man and I were just starting a family, and we had 2 of our 3 children were born there, and 5 years at Florida State. It was a lot of fun. Just learned a lot from him. What a great mentor he is, and still means a lot. His career, he's retiring this year after 50 years of coaching. Not too many guys in the college game have had the career that Coach Hamilton has.
Yeah, 23 years there at Florida State. after several other long stints. That's an impressive job he has done there, and that's a program that hadn't had a ton of success over many years.
Yeah, what he's done there over the course of 23 years. We had a pretty good 5-year run when we were there going to the Sweet 16, and I got my first head coaching job at Florida Gulf Coast, and then he ramped it up and kept going and went to the Elite Eight and had a lot of just great players. And I think the cool thing about Coach Hamilton, the wins and losses are important, obviously, but what he's meant to the players that have come through there as a mentor, as a friend, as a coach, is pretty special.
You mentioned it earlier, 7 road wins in the ACC. You would have been surprised by that maybe early in the season. Overall, here at 21-8, how do you – I don't know if we still got games to play, obvious, but it's our last show. How would you rate how your first season has gone here at SMU?
Well, I think this team's really overachieved from beginning the predictions early in the season, and certainly in our preseason and early in the year, they've overachieved what we thought they could have, because they've certainly improved. That's what we hoped they did. They bought into the system that we had, and they bought in playing together and improving, especially in the defensive end. Obviously, we're leading the league in scoring. It's been fun. We're leading the league in steals and offensive rebounding. So they're doing a lot of things well. You never know how a season's going to go. Obviously, we're 19-5, and Boopy gets hurt, so we're 2-3 since he's been hurt. So that's been a big. It's really affected how we played the last 5 games, just because we haven't played without him all season. He's a big part of our leading scorer and leads us in assists, and he was playing at the highest level of his career, especially defensively. But our other guys are good players too, so we've been able to kind of hang in there right now, and we just need to finish strong. We need to win this game tomorrow night for senior night, and then go to Tallahassee and play as hard as we can, and go into this tournament with some energy and with a couple wins under our belt.
Well, Andy, it's been great visiting with you each week, getting to know you more throughout the season as well, and hopefully we got a lot more time to talk to each other here in the coming weeks too. I sure hope that.
Thank you, and thanks to all of you.
Yeah, thank you everyone coming out. Again, Tuesday night, tomorrow night, Syracuse, 8 o'clock at Moody Coliseum, and then on Saturday, Florida State on the road. That is a 3 o'clock start. Thanks to everybody joining us here. Thanks to everybody who watches us on the SMU Mustangs Facebook page for the Hilltop Hoops.
This has been the Hilltop Hoop Show with head coaches Andy Enfield and Toyelle Wilson. Presented by the SMU Cox School of Business and broadcasted live from Ozona Grill and Bar on the Mustangs Sports Network from Learfield.